once a week we go out to the wonderful state of California and check in with Michael Snyder and see what's happening in the movies. Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm good, Alex, and it's another weekend, and we took a week off, so we'll do some quick catch-up, but things are slow in movie land. But let's see what's available. Leap is another new animated feature getting a release on a slow weekend in the film calendar, and it concerns an orphan girl who is voiced by Elle Fanning, and she dreams of becoming a ballerina, and thus she flees rural Brittany for Paris to try and join the Grand Opera Ballet Corps. It's set at the turn of the previous century, right around then, the Belle Epoque maybe. Jules Verne is running around and what have you, and she has a young fellow orphan boy who has a crush on her who follows her to Paris. And, you know, it looks like a French or French-Canadian co-production. It's released by the Weinsteins, and believe me, it looks a hell of a lot better than their on-the-cheap, crude CGI fairy tale burlesque Hoodwinked and its sequel. But it's pretty familiar stuff. It's been done so much better by Pixar and Blue Sky and DreamWorks and such. Plus the easy, low-brow bathroom humor, and there's like a clumsy mix of accents. There's like a British accent on some female character, and then there's the fake French accent. Kate McKinnon does a number of voices here to no effect, essentially. And Mel Brooks plays like a kindly, eventually a kindly custodian of the orphanage, but that doesn't really help matters. Leap is, I guess, okay fodder for the kids if you want to check it out, but I was not impressed. Oddly enough, Paulina is the second movie about a promising young ballet dancer to be on release this weekend. Like Leap, it's also a French film that's at least partly set in France, although it begins in Moscow at the Bolshoi. The other difference is it's live action, and it concerns a young girl who has already gained entry into the dance world and is studying classical ballet. Oh, the other difference is it's good. The girl has an awakening or a change of heart and turns to modern dance and choreography as she gets older. The great Juliette Binoche is on board here as a mentor to the girl. This thing is rightly praised for gorgeous dance sequences, and the young woman playing the lead role of Paulina, Anastasia Shevtsova, is a real pro dancer who was performed with the St. Petersburg Marlinsky Theater and proves to be quite an effective actress, in addition to being a beauty and a fine dancer. Directed by Valerie Mueller and Angelin, I can't even pronounce this person's last name. It's something Eastern European. And written by Mueller. I thought it was a very lovely film. Subtitles, so beware of that. Unleashed is a sweet, if slight fantasy aided by your desire or tolerance for watching Kate Micucci of Garfunkel and Oates fame. She plays a nebbish app designer who is betrayed by a thieving nerd techie boyfriend, played by the guy who plays Big Head.
What's the name of this picture again? I forgot to write it down.
Unleashed.
Okay.
The guy who plays Big Head on Silicon Valley betrays her. So she gives up on love and dating and retreats into social solitude, and her only companions, the only things in the world she trusts, are her dog and her cat, and they are magically transformed one night into physically attractive adult men who are devoted to her. So there's definitely comedy here, as well as the presence of Sean Astin as an actual normal human friend of Emma's, who's her neighbor and the handyman who attends to her apartment. You kind of see where this is going quickly into it. And most of the best comic moments come from Chatwin and Howie. Justin Chatwin and Steve Howie, who play the animals turned into humans. And the sweetness comes from Micucci. It'll play well on streaming and cable as soon as it's unleashed there. Writer-director Finn Taylor has made a nice little film. Nothing earth-shattering. A quick catch-up on last week's major releases. As the title says, The Hitman's Bodyguard is about an incarcerated hitman who is being transported to The Hague, where he's going to rat out an Eastern European dictator's war crimes, and thus the hitman, played by Sam Jackson, needs a bodyguard, played by Ryan Reynolds. Only the hitman previously ruined the bodyguard's career as a protection agent, so there's no love lost there. It's kind of 48 hours with exotic locales and more bullets and less funny. Gary Oldman is the dictator in this movie. My reaction to that is Gary gotta eat. Not a very good film. Kind of a waste of time. On the other hand, there's Logan Lucky. Director Steve Soderbergh takes on the action crime genre in Logan Lucky. This is a tale of two brothers who attempt to pull off a heist during a NASCAR race in North Carolina. The brothers are played by Channing Tatum and Adam Driver, who apparently the character has lost an arm. Anyway, the latter is much more suited to this role than to Kylo Ren in the Star Wars movies. Tatum is like a nice guy, working class fellow. Driver runs a bar. They're both ne'er-do-wells, but they're lovable ne'er-do-wells. And the rest of the cast is an interesting assortment of talented players. Catherine Waterston, Sebastian Stan, Hilary Swank, Katie Holmes, Dwight Yoakam. They all get their moment in the spotlight, although not large. But, as the credits say, this movie is introducing Daniel Craig as Joe Bang, a hick-talking, short-fused explosive expert. And Craig is definitely having a blast here, pardon the expression. And speaking of blasts, there are some gaping narrative holes, but it's generally so much fun, and the cast plays it all with such verve that you almost don't care. Yeah, Logan Lucky is not a great film, but I had a great time watching Logan Lucky. Imagine 8 Mile, the Eminem biopic, only with a chubby white girl as the aspiring rapper, and that's Patty Cakes, a coming-of-age dramedy that works primarily because of an impressive and appealing turn by a big Aussie actress, Danielle McDonald, as a Jersey girl with no prospects but a yen to achieve success and stardom in the hip-hop scene. There's formula here, but it has charm, and it works. A nice job from first-time writer-director Jeremy Jasper. And oh yeah, Kathy Moriarty's here, playing Patty's grandmother. And that's no raging bull. Wow, time certainly does fly. It's a charming film. We'll wrap it up quickly with Marjorie Prime, a thoughtful, fascinating science fiction-infused dramedy starring John Hamm, Gina Davis, and Tim Robbins. And here, an elderly woman played by Lois Smith, who was Sookie's grandmother on True Blood and generally plays feisty older women. She spends time with a holographic AI recreation of her late husband, portrayed by Hamm, and this lets her and the family kind of investigate and revise their memories of the past. This was a very clever and in my mind, successful film that takes on an interesting challenge, and it's where speculative fiction, it should go. And Marjorie Prime, to me, was the big treat out of all these movies, and I believe it's available for streaming, or it will be soon. What are you watching, buddy?
Nothing.
Anything out there?
No. I mean, Preacher, which is great, and outside of that, I have nothing to recommend at all.
Did you ever get into the Twin Peaks revival?
No.
Okay. Just checking. It's fascinating and thrilling and crazy and off the wall and ridiculous and funny, and I'm loving it.
You and one other person, I think, in this whole country.
Maybe. David Lynch's brother. Does he have a brother?
Something like that.
That's it, pal.
Bobby Lynch. Yeah. Anyway, tell them where they can find you, Michael.
I'm on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. And hopefully we will be back next weekend with more and better films.
And there's more GABNet coming right up.